Hello everyone. Today we're going to pick right back up on the Beauty and the Beast project, and then of course last week we did the end out there with the window, which we've still got a lot of work to do on that one. But then today we're going to start and get a little bit done on this end. This is the end again that's going to have the little table with the rose sitting on it, and this one will have these two long tall doors that have the lattice work on it. So I went ahead and cut out this door that I just made out of foam board, and it's just going to have that little lattice work stuff in it. And that is this stuff here that I had used in the Hocus Pocus windows. That's going to make a really good lattice work, and I actually went and got one done. And when I got it done, I almost squealed with excitement because it looked so good. So let me pull that down here. Look how amazing that looks. I was so excited with how good that turned out. And of course, I just cut a little strip of it and glued it, hot glued it right there to the back. The back may not look the prettiest, but you're never going to really see that because it's going to be glued in place kind of right here. And then of course, I got to get the other one done to go in this area. And then I'm going to have to age them because I'm going to have to break it up and cut some parts out because this is where the beast, I guess, has his little anger fits, and he goes in here and just rips everything apart. So we'll have to distress it and stuff. But before I glue them in, I'm going to give it a coat of paint back in here. I think it'll be easier to paint it before I get these glued up in the way. So I'm going to paint this. I just ain't sure what color. I'm going to have to pull up the pictures and see what color to make it. So now I'm ready to paint, but I think it might be better if I do glue these in place before painting it, because it's all going to get painted the same color. So I think it'll be better just to go ahead and put them in place, and that way the glue will glue better to the wall than it would a painted wall. But you know what? I really think we need something of Gaston in the scene. So let me just put my picture over there. That looks a lot nicer. And then of course we'll stand our little Gaston over here. He'll keep us in order. He'll make us get the job done right. So let me glue these in place real quick. All right, so I've got the last door gluing, and I've kind of just barely got this one tacked. I'm going to have to go behind it and put a little more glue there. But I'm going to start with painting it all the same color. I'm going to use elephant gray just to give it a base coat, because if you look at the picture, it is sort of got a bluish hue to it. I guess it's just the way they colored it, but I'm going to start with that gray base color. All right, so there's like instant regret of gluing those windows in there because this little paintbrush that I'm using is not getting back in there. It's just going so far. It's hard to tell, but there's a whole strip down through there that I'm just not able to get. So I'm hoping, oh yeah, totally better. Thank goodness for long, skinny brushes like this, because that one's going to get in there a lot better. But I kind of knew I should have trusted my instincts and painted it first, but oh well, I'm doing it the hard way, struggling to get this brush back in here. But it's doing it, so thank goodness. It's just going to take a little bit more time to get it done, but we'll get it. So as far as painting, I just brushed it on, but then as a final little touch up, I'm just kind of poking it like this, because I like the texture that gives better than just a bunch of brush strokes, and it kind of gives it a stone look or a rocky look. I just don't like the brush strokes, but I think this is called stippling, where you just kind of poke it, and I like the texture of it better. So now I've got it painted, and it's just a plain base coat. I need to figure out like what kind of aging needs to be done to that or whatever. There's not really going to be a lot going on this side. It's going to have a curtain in the back again so that I can access all that in there. But I'm going to hang it before I do the aging. And then there's the only thing that's really going to be here is going to be that little table with a bell and the rose under it. And this is my mama's necklace. I went in there and grabbed this uh, just to see the scale. And I held it up to Gaston because he's going to be the doll that I use for this project. And back there, you can see it's a really good scale for him. So I was just kind of using it as a model to see if it would be good. And so I need this really fancy table to sit here, and I'm not going to get to that today. I just got to look at that and figure out how in the world I'm going to make it because it's super fancy. It's got these little naked people sitting under it, holding up the tabletop. So I have no idea how I'll make that or if I'll even make anything close to it. I may just settle for some normal doll table that I can find off the internet. I mean, I don't know that I'll ever get it made that fancy, but um, it's going to be super cute. And so I'm just trying to look at the pictures to decide what to do next. I may go ahead and try to find me some fabric here real quick and go ahead and get us a little curtain hung up. Well, after I was looking, I haven't tore out any of this. Now, the beast, kind of tore this room apart. So we got to take out some of this. And I'm just going to randomly snip out some parts to make it look like he has broken this. So let's just snip out a little bit like that. Oh, I kind of like that. I might just leave it with that one hanging down and let it kind of hang there. That looks kind of cool. And then some of it up here I'll take out completely. See, that beast is mean. We need guys like Gaston to protect everybody from that horrible beast. Are y'all team Gaston or team Beast? I'm obviously team Gaston. See, that looks way better because, again, this room is going to be really dark and the colors are really muted. And then, of course, there is a picture of the Beast when he was a prince. And I was just thinking that would be the perfect thing to go kind of on the wall back here, which, well, there's not really a wall, but we can come up with some way to hang it. I'll have to either paint it myself or just print it off like I did the window. But I think that would be a good detail because I was just trying to think of, we have very limited floor space here, just enough room for our table and the rows. And I was just really wanting something. So I just realized that painting would be the perfect thing. So I will have to get that little picture printed off. I'm trying to decide if I should paint it or print it. So I'm not sure. All right, now as I was going around here, I was noticing some little drips of paint that was starting to get kind of thick. So I took this little dry brush just to kind of blot away some of those drips. And then also, I thought it would be kind of cool to go in here and take out a little gash from the trim of the window or the door or whatever that's supposed to be. Because he takes his claws and kind of claws it all up. So I'm just going to kind of take out little bits like that. So I went and looked and decided to make a lot of damage to it. So I've been cutting on the lattice work, and then I've even taken my blade and put some scratches into the wall. And now I am going over everything with Mod Podge. I just like how that does, because when I make cuts on my foam board, I just like to go over everything with Mod Podge to help it stay together. Because with foam board, it's like the foam and then there's like a layer of paper over that, and I feel like going over this with the Mod Podge will keep the paper from pulling away in the future. The Mod Podge will just kind of put a little coating over it and make it stronger. Right now, everything's really flat and gray, so I'm going to go back in behind the little lattice work and smudge some black paint back in there just to give it some more dimension and make it look like it goes a little further back than it really does. Because when you darken your background, it looks a little deeper than what it is. So I'm going to just take some black acrylic and just sort of brush around the edges, mainly back in here and a little bit at the top, and come out a little bit at the bottom. So it's really thick, but it's really hard for me to get this to show that good. But I'm going to kind of let it blend, kind of like an ombre effect where it's darker black and then it kind of fades in with the gray. And if you have to add a little gray to your paint to make it blend, you can. But I'm just going to do sort of like that. And then if I feel like that's too much, I can kind of hit that a little bit when it's dry. Just kind of dry brush a little gray down there, but I like how it's looking so far. So let me do this side a little bit. And then you could take a drier brush and let me see here, maybe this little flat brush, this little sponge brush, and just sort of sponge it, kind of lift off some of that paint. But I really like the look of that. So I can just sit here and play with that black until I get it the way I want it, and then bring in some more of that gray. The black is done, so now that that is, I'm going to go back over these spots where I kind of got too much of the black on where I didn't want it. So I'm going to hit these spots a little bit just to kind of brighten them back up. All right, so I've gone in there and I've blended my gray and my blacks together the way I want it. I'm happy with everything, but I kind of want to try something. In the movie, it looks like there's a purple, bluish hue over everything. Just this magical color that just kind of changes, just from the pictures, it looks like blues and purples. And I've got this color shifting purple that I kind of want to brush over all of it. I don't know if I'm going to regret it or not. I mean, I can fix it. I mean, if I mess it up, I can fix it. But I just kind of want to see what this pretty funky purple color will do over parts of it. So I'm going to do that. Just kind of dry brush it. I'll do that off camera. But this is kind of how it looks right now. And this is the west wing. I think I was calling this the east wing. I didn't know what wing this was in the castle, the forbidden part of the castle. But it's the west wing. I had to look it up. I didn't know about it. I don't know that much about the Beast Castle. If it was a question about Gaston, I could have known it. I would have probably got it right. But I did. I didn't think it was the East Wing, but I didn't really know, so I looked it up. And then I'm just realizing, shame on myself for giving the Beast three sides of this project. I mean, Gaston just gets one little side over here, but we're going to really put some detail in his side because he, again, is my favorite character. But this is looking so good. I am so excited about this. So I'm going to do this little purple dry brush over it and see what that does to it. All right, so I've done this side with a dry brush of that purple, and it is not picking up on the camera. It is so disappointing that it's not picking up. It has got the most pretty color shifting, like as the light hits it, it kind of changes, and I just kind of lightly went over it, but it's got the prettiest purple shade to it. And I just hope that I can get pictures to pick that up better than what the video is doing. It has got the prettiest look to it. I am so excited because it gave it that pop of purple that it needed. This side ain't even done. And honestly, again, it's just not picking up in the camera. But I just went over it. I just swished it around in there. I knocked off a little bit, and then I just kind of done this little number here. I mean, I just kind of dragged it down and just kind of lightly let it hit it. All right, let me see if turning the light off will help kind of show that color a little bit better. Okay, well, no, that just don't look good at all. Okay, so that's way too dark. But it's really pretty. It's got that really pretty purple, shimmery look to it. And I think what I'm going to do is highlight just a little bit on these doors with a really light gray color, back to probably that original gray I started with. You barely even see the gray anymore. But I'm going to just kind of hit it just out here. And then I need to get the curtain in there because I said I wasn't going to age it and distress all this till I got that curtain in there because I wanted it to age the same as the walls and stuff. And here I didn't do it. So I'm going to have to get me a curtain put in there real quick and like paint that curtain to kind of match a little bit. Okay, so I've got the whole thing done there. I did go, you can see the little bit more gray that kind of toned down that shimmery purple. And I didn't hit the back of it in here because I just love how that gray kind of brought back that exterior look of a castle and it kind of gave it more of the gray color. Uh, and again, hopefully the pictures will pick up more of the difference in how this all looks. But I noticed in the picture of the prints that there's like a red curtain. So I found this red fabric. I really didn't know what I was going to use for it. I'm going to make a curtain to hang back here to hide that opening. So that's the fabric I'm going to use. And before I do it, I'm going to actually get it wet and drape it kind of the way I want it, and then add some paint colors to this. I'm going to take it outside and just wet it, get it completely soaking wet, and then just kind of drip some paint down it as it's hanging out there. And I'm going to let it kind of drape over something like a bar of some kind or a stick to where it kind of keeps its shape. All right, so while the curtain is drying, I'm going to, that's a really good angle of that. You can really see how that looks. Um, but while the curtain is drying, I'm going to sit here and add a couple little details. One is a vine that is growing into the window. I noticed in the pictures that little detail, and so I went in my backyard and I grabbed this little piece of honeysuckle, and I'm going to use that for the vine. So I just cut a piece of that, and I'm just going to kind of weave it in there. I'm not sure which way to do it. I guess just something like that. And of course, it shows up a little bit better on my in real life, but you'll see it better later. But that looks pretty good, and that's really all it needs. It don't need a lot. I don't think there was a lot on this little door part. It was mostly over this away where it was going through. But that looks pretty cute. That's just a fun little detail, and I like that it's a real vine. Now, again, I don't think I'm going to get to the picture of the prints, and I'm definitely not going to get that weird table made today. But I'm just, again, I'm going to get that curtain hung real quick, and then we'll check it out a little bit better. Now, I went out and grabbed the curtain. So here is what the curtain looks like. It's this really pretty maroonish reddish color. It's a lot brighter than the camera is picking up, but I'm actually going to leave it. I mean, it's super long. I didn't even age the back of it, but that's okay. I'm actually going to leave it like it is. I'm not going to cut it. I was going to cut it in half and just use this part, but what I'm going to do is just hang it right over the curtain rod. And what I'm using for a curtain rod is just a little barbecue stick. So I'm going to just hang it over there just like that. And it's still a little damp, but that's okay. And then I'm going to just hot glue it up in here. And then I have a solution for, you can see the little stick. I'm just going to glue it up in there and let it hang down. And then I'll trim the bottom so it ain't so long because that's way too long, but I'll trim that up in a little bit. But I have a solution for something here to hide that little, where you're going to see the glue. There's something else that hangs up here, so I'll do that next. But let me get this glued in place and then we'll work on it. All right, so there's what it looks like. I think that looks so cute. It's so nice to actually, I'm glad I kept it doubled and just folded over because it gives more to shove back in there to help hide that opening. So to hide the little glue mess up here, which it's not really that messy, it don't even look bad. I don't know if that even shows or not, but it really don't even look bad. But I still want to add this last piece. It's just this fabric that's supposed to be like a little white drapery. I just noticed in the pictures there's this torn up white or a light colored fabric hanging around, and it's got claw marks in it. So I'm going to kind of glue this up in here and let it swag, and then kind of chop it up with my blade just to make it look like the beast has ripped off the curtains or whatever they're supposed to be. So I'm going to glue that up in there to where I feel like it looks good, and then just kind of shred them up a little bit. That's crazy, Gaston. I mean, don't pay any attention to it. You know that's not true. I mean, look at you. You're the most handsome guy in town. Everybody knows it. She knows it. I mean, she's crazy about you, and that's why she's playing so hard to get. I mean, she ain't even that pretty if you ask me. I mean, you're prettier than she is. Oh, wait a minute. All right, we'll have to finish that conversation later. But here is the final look of where I'm at today. Now, I absolutely love it. Everything looks so perfect, and it's basically done. I did shred these curtains also, and I just love how that's my little way to access the battery packs and stuff back there. And then I think it's done. Now, I'm kind of on the fence about putting the picture of the prince in here. I kind of want to. I'm going to hold the rose up here. Now, this again, this is not the exact rose I'm going to use, but that gives you a really good idea of how that's kind of going to look. Just imagine that real fancy table with this sitting on top, and it's going to have a light inside to light it up. So that's going to be perfect, and I just want that to be the focal point. I don't want anything to take away from the rose. That's why I'm not sure if I want the portrait of the prince in here or not. Maybe y'all can help me decide. Does it need it? Does it not need it? Maybe I should just print it off and we can check it out in the next video, um, and see if we think it's cool or not. And I was thinking maybe it could just tuck back in here to where it's not too much of an taken away from the rose. Because, like I said, I just want the rose to be the focal point. But y'all can just help me decide, do we want the prince picture or not? But we can figure that out in the next video when we look at it. But this is where I'm going to end it for today. I hope y'all have enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.